Hey there, folks. This is Dwayne Coffee here, or also known as Mr. C 1983 2005. Today, we're going to start working on the base. I got everything pretty much worked out and, figured out how some of these trees line up with the numbers and stuff within the book. So basically what I did was, let's see here. Okay, so I basically went through every diagram here that, shows you the parts and it gives you like the part number. It's like this is the sprue and this is the part number, which you can see right there. So what I went and did was I marked down every runner that is going to be used to do the base. So I would put the letters here, what runner needs to be here present to do this. And then once I got all the runners, I checked it off to say, okay, I finally got it. We're good to go. So yeah, this is part one of the base. I think I want to try to do this in three parts for the base. To help you guys out on how to do this the proper way and such. And we're going to take our time and everything. I want to use my tools. And I want to show you guys how I clip my parts out. And if it needs to be sanded, then I'll show you things that I use to sand it with and, level everything out and such. So right now, let's focus on the first part here. So let's bend the manual back like this. So there we go. We're going to start on this part right here. This is like the boom arm, and then this is like, hold on, let me get this thing to focus right. So this is like where the Gundam would, sit on top of it and it holds it in place, and then you got the wiring that goes up. It's like a USB-C port at the end. These are like the nuts and bolts that goes through and put everything together. So let's see. Let's go ahead and start finding these parts here, and I'll clip them out, and I'll show you how I do my process of clipping parts out. So let's see. We're going to need runner K. And over here, I have all of my runners stationed and everything. I have all my tools laid out. These little cups right here is like whenever I cut the parts out and everything's good to go, ready for prime and paint, I'll put all the parts in these little cups so I can take it out there in the garage and, paint everything. So I'll have everything organized in these cups ready to go. These are my nippers, tweezers. If you guys built Gundams, these little balancer sticks are the best. I mean, I love these things. You got like a rougher side and then a really smooth side to, buff out the scratches and stuff on the plastic parts. There's the base that we're working on, and yeah, let's get into it. Let's find runner K. All right, here we go. So this is runner K. Remember I told you in the videos previous that the runners will have like the runner, what the runner is. This is K. This is made of POM. It's a type of plastic. And then on the instructions, it'll say, okay, K, it'll direct you towards this tree here. And then it'll say part number. So for instance, like this one right here is K8. So let's find K8. All right, so K8 is going to be this one right here. And right up here in this little corner, it says the number 8. So this part here, we're going to go ahead and clip out, and I'm going to show you how to do that. My preferred method of doing this is I use these God hands right here. I'll put all the tools and stuff that I use in my description or whatever, links to go to these tools to get them. But these ones right here, these are God hands PN-125s. These are good for the operation I'm getting ready to show you. I got another brand new set here just in case I need it. So this is what they look like. So let's start doing this. So what I like to do is I clip the part out like this. Now, the reason why I do it that way, the nubs are out here. The reason why I do it this way is because I got another pair of nippers that I use to go in to do the flush cuts, and these nippers right here are by far the best that I've used to date. These are the SPN-120s from God Hand. This is their latest version right here. I got a plethora of these in stock. You know, I use these a lot. They really come in handy, and they're really good to get up and close and do a flush cut. So let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So you got the part here, and you bring the nippers right in there. So you got to make sure this blade is flush and flat against the plastic piece. And then you nip it, right? So you see, it doesn't damage the plastic on the outside here. So what's left is this little undergate. You got that little undergate right there that you got to clip off, and then the part is pretty much ready to go. So how I do the undergating, I do basically the same thing. Get it flush with the side, and then I cut it off. And so you can pretty much see that it really, I mean, it does a fabulous job. So there's not really much you have to do. And what I like to do from time to time is sometimes when you clip the undergate off, there's like a little bit of the nub right there. I usually like to go in there and shave that off just a little bit, not too much. So right there. So now the part is pretty much ready to go together. It is flat and flush here, flat and flush here, and it's perfectly straight. And you can see that it did not damage the plastic whatsoever out there. And the God Hand SPN-120s is by far the best. I use those to do the flush cuts, and then I use these big guys from God Hand to cut the nub, you know, the long part that's connected to the plastic. That's the way I do it. I don't know about you guys, but it's better that way. So let me go ahead and finish dressing this part up, and we'll go from there. Go back in there, clean this up just a wee bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. I know that there is another nub here somewheres. There we go. Little undergate right there. Clip that off. Do it one more time. There's that one. That's pretty good to go. Go in there and shave it just ever so slightly. Perfect. So that one's good. That one's good. And then let's see here. We got another undergate. It's a little sloppy the way it broke off. So we'll just shave that right there. All right. So pretty much all I did was cut the nubs off a little long, so it's easier to go in there with the SPN-120s to do the flush cut. And then there's going to be a little undergate left. And again, the SPN-120s are the best from God Hand to do, you know, flush cuts. I mean, this is by far the best blade I've used to date. So we're going to need to cut this part out. And so let's continue. Let's go. Let's get cracking, man. So we got that one side. Definitely know we're going to be needing this one. Okay, there's that. So again, like I said, go in there, make it nice and flush like that, the way you see it, flat up against the part, cut the nub off. Same here. And here, if you clip it like this on a round edge, it's going to be like cut flush at the very tip, and there's going to be like 2 parts of the nub there. That's not too much of a problem, but me, sometimes I personally like cutting like that, like against the grain like that, and it's nice and round. So when you go to clean the nub up, look at that. You see that? It doesn't really damage the plastic the way I do it. And this blade here is by far the best blade I've used to date. This is from FISKARS. It's got this nice rubber handle at the end of it, and then it's got a nice collar. You can put saw blades in this as well. Very, very universal blade. I mean, I love the locking collar on this. Like, you just unscrew it like this, and then you pull your blade out, and you got a split collar on both sides for different operations, if you will. So you just put the blade back down in there, snug as a bug in a rug. Tighten it down, and you're good to go. And the blades that I prefer to use is from X-ACTO. I use the number 11. These are the Z-Series. These blades, they stay sharp for a very, very long time. So they're really, really good for this hobby. So if you're looking for a good blade, X-ACTO, the Z-Series, number 11, these are like my go-to blades. So, and if you notice that those blades, they got like a gold leading edge to it. That's kind of like it's tempered more, and it's more, durable. So these are good blades. I definitely love this FISKARS handle. This is by far the best blade I've used to date. And like I said, all these tools and things that I'm using, I'll put them in my description. When I'm using a link or whatever, if you're interested in trying out these tools. Yeah, we'll go from there. So let's finish dressing this up. Okay, just to shave it ever so slightly. Cut that one off. Cut that one off. That one's got just a wee bit left on there, so I'll just do a light shave. That one seems to be okay. Okay, and then we got this other one right here. Alright, so there we go. So like now you'll see that these two parts, they go together. Sometimes I like to do test fits, but in this case, this kit, like once you put it together, it really locks in place, and it's really a nightmare to take apart. But for the most part, it looks like it's going to go together really good. It's no problem there. So there's those two parts. Let's go ahead and cut the rest of this stuff out so we can work on this boom arm here. So we got K5, K6, K2, K5, K6, K2. So we got 5, 6, and 2. Woo, that one there went pretty far, y'all. Let me go get that. Okay, so this is going to be like a pin that goes inside the stand boom arm there, and this grips the gears on the bottom part, this part right here. So it kind of, actually, no, I'm sorry, it goes right up here. So it goes in here, And then there's going to be a rotation. This is where the Gundam sits on top of it. And this part right here is going to have gears in it. So that tooth that you see right there is going to catch on those gears and it locks it in place so it doesn't move. So when you put your Gundam in a pose, that right there keeps it in place. So usually on these ones here, when I cut them, the ends are going to be just a smidgen rough on the ends right there. You see that? I like to use, I got some really good sanding sticks here. This is like a medium grit sandpaper sanding stick that I use. What I do is I go in there and I'll sand it, get all the rough spots off. So you see, like, look, you see how there's no more rough spots on there, like where the nub came off. Compared to this side, you'll see like a little line right there. It's a little rough right there, so I'll just sand it off. And so pretty much both sides are sanded really good. I'm going to be putting paint on this part, so I would like to not necessarily buff it with this side of this balancer. I want to buff it with the rough side of this balancer, so the paint has something to grab onto, especially on the ends. So I'll give it a few swipes, basically like that. Do the other side. So now it's roughed up enough to where the paint is going to grab on there and stick really good. So that's how I clean my parts up. I use, these sanding sticks, and I use these balancer pads. So it's pretty good stuff. So let's see, we got a few more parts here. Yes, we do. So again, like I said, go in there nice and flat. Cut the part off, go in here, do the same, then go in there, cut the nub off, come over here, cut the nub off, go in here and dress it up a little bit. There we go. We clean that up quite a bit there. That's really good. Not too bad. Like when I use this blade to go in there and shave, I lightly press down. Because these blades are so sharp, I lightly press down and just take a very, very, very thin layer of plastic off to make it nice and smooth. Because if you go in there too deep, then that straight line won't be straight. It'll be like straight, and then you'll see like a divot, and you don't want that because that does not look good at all. Round pieces, like what's round right here, like I told you before, I don't cut those flush like this. I like to cut them going around. And it gives it a nice round cut because it goes with the curvature of the part. It's just a nice little tip that I like to pass along to help people out like you fine folks. Now we go in here and dress these little nubs up, make them nice and flat. You can see that I'm taking very small layers of plastic off, like really thin layers, to where it's nice and smooth. You see? And see that the line is straight here. It doesn't cut in too much, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's see here. So, like I said, the part that has the gears on it, this tooth right here that's going to go into the stand, it's going to be catching these gears likewise. So when you slide it one way, you can move it up and down. You slide it back into position, it locks it in place. It won't move up and down. Just tips and tricks just to help you guys out so you can understand the mechanism, how it works. You know, I'm going to be doing this throughout this build, you know, teaching you guys stuff. You know, I'm going to even teach you guys like how I do my paint layups and stuff. You know, how I cut the sprues and nubs and undergating and all that good stuff. I'm going to teach you all that. I mean, I know there's going to be advanced builders that's going to be seeing this stuff, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah, I know what's going on here. But there's also going to be newbies that's going to see this video too, and they're wanting to learn. So this is for the advanced builders and newbies as well. So this is to help anybody and everybody out. I just want to build a good community. That's all I care about. You know, like-minded people such as us, and let's just do something great here, you know? Just want to help out people, you know, how to do this. I've been building these Gundams since 2013, the day I retired out of the Air Force. So, yeah, it's a good thing. The Gundams are fun to do. Some are easy to build, and some, like this is a nightmare. Lord have mercy. But, yeah, so there's that. I think I got one more part that I got to clip out here. It is B13. B13. So let's see, where is B1? So that's H I A. Oh, here we go. See, so see, it says B1 right there. And I'm going to need part 3. It's like a little zigzag looking thing. So right here, this part right here is what I'm needing. All right. So there's that. SPN-120s again. I'm going to just trim the stuff off. That's all I want to do is part. Just trim it off. I'm going to go in here and sand this a little bit because this is like a spring mechanism. It's a spring. So if it's a spring, you want to make sure your plastic's nice and smooth. Because if it's not nice and smooth, especially on the spring portion of it, if it's not nice and smooth, over time when you use it, it's going to wear the spring down. And if it's not fixed properly here, smoothed out, it'll eventually break right there, and that would be the weak point. So that's the reason why I smooth these things out. I'll sand it down ever so slightly. So there you go. Let me get my camera to adjust. There we go. There. Nice and smooth. So what I do now is I want to go in here and clean this up a little bit more, buff it out. So now I know for sure that spring is not going to have a weak place right there, because that's where the nub was. Just FYI, tips and tricks. If you have a spring mechanism like this, you know, over time, if you're adjusting the stand and stuff a lot, and if you have a little spring mechanism in there, it's made of plastic, and the nub is right here, always remember to sand it right there really good and make it nice and smooth, because eventually, the more you use it, the weaker it's going to get right there because it's not cleaned up. So just little tips and tricks. Let's see here. Let's give you a little bit of a proposal here, what this is going to look like all together. So you see the part right here. So we'll do like this part, and then I'll put these parts together. Let me grab my manual real quick. So that little spring mechanism that I sanded, in the instructions it says it goes in this way, like that. So you can see it's a totally different color. It's like a dark gray, and then you got the light gray on the outside. So that spring goes in there like that. And there's like little grooves and stuff for it to sit in there pretty good. Then let's see, we got K6. Okay. So here's the deal. I typically would put all of this together and paint it all as one unit, you know, paint it all together as one unit. But this is a special case where I'm not going to be able to do that, because in here you'll see that there's a little line right here, and then another little line that goes down in here. Wiring goes in here. So if I were to put the wiring in here, and then there's a USB-C port that goes right here, and I paint it, it's going to paint that USB port, and that's not going to be very good at all, honestly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go out there, I want to paint these things up and put them all together, and then I will come back on my next video. I'll have a little bit more of this stand put together. I'm going to work on my own time, and when I come to a point where something's really interesting, I think you guys can learn from it, I'll start another video, and it's going to be like, you know, base part 2, you know. So from here on out, I want to work to paint these parts, put them together, and then when I get on my next video, I'm going to show you the completed part, and like, you know, screws and nuts and everything that I used to assemble this. But today's tutorial basically was to show you my tools, what I'm using, how I cut my parts, and how I sand parts if needed, and how I go about putting these kits together. You know, I'm trying to be very informative so everybody can learn, you know, just like me when I first started out. So just trying to make things a lot easier for anybody and everybody who gets on here to watch this, and that's pretty much it. So like I said, we got all these parts pretty much put together, or not put together, but cut out, ready to rock and roll. You can see that those two parts go together there, and this is where the USB-C port is going to be shining through. This little part right here goes, obviously goes like that right there. It goes into that little hole right there, and then this will sandwich on top of all of that, and then, you know, you pretty much got a boom arm. So yeah, so this is the base part 1. I just wanted to, like I said, go over how I start my operation cutting the leads out. You know, the nubs, I cut them long, so when I go in, I use my SPN-120s to do a flush cut, and then you're going to have the undergating, and I'll just do another flush cut, and it's like pretty much good to go. There might be a little excess of a nub left over, and I'll take my blade in here, and I'll go in there, and I'll shave ever so slightly the last little bit of nub that's left there. So really, it's not that hard. It really isn't. It's a lot less work you have to do. And like I said, you can't even tell where the nubs were unless I shine the light on there right. You can kind of see the nub there, but if you turn it this way, you can't even tell that it was even there. See, it's all nice and straight right there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to get you guys acquainted with the tools that I use. My tweezers that I use is a TOWOT. It's a nice set. Comes with, you know, these really fine jeweler, you know, Craftsman tweezers. I really love using these tweezers, this brand here. So like I said, all the tools that I use and I mentioned in this video, I'll put them in the description, and you guys can click the link and, you know, see what they're all about, the prices and such. And most of my prices are going to come from Amazon. So the links I'll put up will be from Amazon, and I hope that helps you guys out. So yeah, this is it for today. Today is just, you know, the base part 1, getting acquainted with the tools, how I do my operation. And then my next video, a good portion of the base will be together. And I'll show you some things that I've had problems with it or whatever. And yeah, tips and tricks. I'll do that along the way and everything. But here's the base. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it is a big base, no joke. This part here is going to go here. I want to probably mask it off here and do like a two-tone gray, or maybe like this part here would be like a, I don't know, diamond plating, and then do like a light gray here, and then on the top be like a stainless steel. This part right here, I will paint it like a different color as well. This part that's coming out here, I'll mask it off and stuff. But for the most part, that's the base, and a lot of wiring and stuff is going to go on underneath here, and it's got like a lot of little spotlights all over it. I will go over how to assemble each spotlight. I'll assemble one, and then I'll go off camera and then do the rest, and then I'll install everything, and then yeah, I'll show you guys how everything's done. But as far as the manual goes, if you look here, all these lines are different colors. This is like pink, orange, red. These collars represent something. This collar represents that part goes together first. This one goes second. This one goes third, fourth, and fifth, and so on. So that's pretty much how it's done, y'all. This manual, I studied it quite a bit today, because this is going to be my first Mechanicore kit I'm put together. And I studied it really rigorously to understand what I'm getting myself into. So now I'm able to explain it to you guys how things are done. So don't get too hyped about all the lines and stuff you see here. It's relatively easy to put together. It's just the line collars tell you what parts go first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and then, like, you know, all the wiring stuff. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad, but except for this stuff right here, this part's going to take some time. It's going to be very tedious. But all right, so this concludes base build up, parts such, base build up number 1. Hope to see you guys again soon. Tune in for base build up number 2. I'll have that video out, let's say, in about a week or so. So that gives me some time to clip some of these parts out, put them in the buckets. I use these buckets right here to just do this. Basically clip the parts out once they're ready for prime and paint. I'll just throw them in there like that, like that, like that, like that. And I know I'm not missing any parts. I'll take this out there. I'll prime and paint each individual section. Let it dry, come in here, assemble it, ready to rock and roll. But that's the whole purpose of these. They do come in handy. I like doing stuff like that. You know, I like to keep everything organized. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Have a wonderful day. See us today is Thursday, so happy Thursday. Enjoy yourselves, and God bless. And let's do something with this community, man. Let's build it. Let's do some cool stuff. All right. Love you guys. Take care. Be safe. Bye.